Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. I am Kyle Smith, joined as always by Mr. Kyle West.
Heyo.
And Adam Carlson. What's up, guys?
Not as always for me, but I'm definitely glad I made it this time because I don't want to talk too much about Vikings Dolphins, but I am excited about regular season football.
There's a reason why when I did the notes, you'll notice that Vikings Dolphins is a quick hit and not the main topic.
Because nobody wants to talk about it.
No.
It's probably a good thing.
No game balls and donkeys for this one, right? It's just too much of a show to even bother with that.
Let's just say we all gave our game balls to Caleb Jones.
Sure. Yeah. TJ Clemmings, donkey.
Sure. There we go.
We're
all done.
Unanimous. There, we got that over with right off the get-go.
Before we talk about that, thank you for everybody for tuning in. This is number 267. Cut to the Boone. I take credit for that awful line because I was pretty heated over the weekend. Now that I have simmered down, we're going to talk about some roster cuts. But let's jump into these quick hits. As we just talked about, the Dolphins came into town from Minnesota for preseason week 4, which a lot of you guys know. Not too much of an important game. All the no-name guys and the second stringers, third stringers are trying to fight for a spot. We did lose.
Oh, yes.
Pretty badly. If my memory serves me correctly, I think was it 30-7. It was pretty awful.
30 to something. I don't know. I know that the Vikings number wasn't much. And it was at least a touchdown. At least one touchdown.
Sorry, I'll pull the official score up here real quick, but it was kind of sloppy. Not going to lie to you.
Kind of is an understatement. It was very sloppy.
Yeah.
It was some sloppy joes in that one.
Game, but inevitably it led to a lot of roster changes, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But I don't know. Like Adam said earlier, I was very impressed with Caleb Jones. Spoiler alert, we'll talk about it in a minute, but he made the practice squad, so be on the lookout for him. Maybe we have an Adam Thielen in the making.
Maybe.
There were some players, too, that in this game should have shined, but just absolutely didn't. This should have been the stage for Jabari Price to come out and show that he is just above this level of talent, that he deserves a spot on the main roster. Instead, it was just so disappointing that he wasn't able to grasp that opportunity and put on an impressive performance. That to me was the biggest takeaway from the whole thing, is that he should have shined but didn't.
Well, and that could have led to him being cut as well, too. Spoiler alert.
I'm kind of upset now because we could have changed the name of the episode to The Price is Wrong, bitch. Oh.
Trust me, everyone on Twitter made that exact same joke when those were the first 2 guys cut from the team.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We got some people in the chat here. We got Eric Grendall joining us, who is a loyal listener of the show. We got Tommy Gunn here. He's talking about Beavers and how he has to leave right now because he got a notification on his app that the Purple People Podcast is live.
Tommy, we love you, buddy. Thanks for always sticking around and listening.
You gotta thank Eric. Eric is with us each and every week as well, too, man.
Eric is too. I don't want to leave you out as well. I think if there's a consistency between 2 people that are always there, it's those 2 guys. So we really, really appreciate it.
And he's very handsome and a lady killer.
I'm gonna give a game ball to Eric. How about that?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Not like a literal physical one, right?
No, I don't have a physical game ball.
Okay. Just a figurative ball, I can do that.
Figurative ball.
But speaking of, 2 Vikings made the Pro Football Focus Team of the Week for preseason week 4. As we mentioned earlier, wide receiver Caleb Jones, which I really like the way he spells his name. That's really cool.
I don't. I hate that. I hated writing that.
91.3, and right tackle Willie Beavers, 82.3. So shout out to those guys for stepping up.
And Beaver's strongest performance was in pass blocking, which was kind of shocking, considering I consider that to be his biggest weakness.
And now he is with New England, I believe.
Yeah, week 3, he had a really bad performance, rebounded in week 4, did really well, and it's earning him another look with the Patriots, so nothing wrong with that.
He'll get a Super Bowl ring now.
Probably.
Either him or TJ Clemmings in Washington will be taking home a ring.
Oh, God. If TJ Clemmings gets a Super Bowl ring, that's it. We're just done with this podcast. We're just done.
TJ Clemmings goes to the Redskins in the Pro Bowl season.
Maybe.
I'll take things that won't happen for 500, please. Moving right along, former Minnesota Vikings running back Adrian Peterson wants to stick it to the Vikings in the season opener. You're welcome to try, sir. Good luck against that defense. I have faith.
The most surprising thing for me was the criticism about how the Vikings didn't stick by him. And
yeah, that's so asinine.
I could not disagree with that statement more. They took him. They tried to get him back on the field. They restructured his contract to give him more guaranteed money when he wanted that after all the legal problems. And while their sponsors were dropping out, it was an absolute mess. And the Vikings did everything they could to just make the situation decent. And I don't understand this hostility. Perhaps he's listening to too much of the Vikings' negative social media or something, and seeing that a lot of fans are kind of moving on from him a lot easier than he thought they would. Or maybe he's mad because he didn't get as big of a payday in free agency as he thought he would, or that the Vikings just didn't pony up and pay him what he thought he was due. I'm not sure what the issue is here. I'm excited to be at that game, and I still don't know how I'm going to react when he takes the field. I have no idea.
I'm kind of over talking about AP. I'll be happy when he retires as a Viking and goes into the Hall of Fame. But not to piggyback on what you said too much, it's just you had a huge, very controversial thing happen that you did yourself, Adrian. You brought negative light to your name and also the Minnesota Vikings and eventually the NFL. We stuck by you. We tried to play you. The NFL took that out of our hands. Then we paid you more. And I really think that at the end of the playoff season and the season where he led the league in rushing 2 years ago, I think we could have gotten rid of him then. Probably could have helped us out with draft picks that we didn't know we would need to get Sam Bradford. But obviously when he has a good season, nobody wants to, except for Bill Belichick in New England, likes to get rid of players out there. They have a great year. So we stuck by him yet again. And I'm just really sick of the diva mentality. There's a lot of Favre to Adrian Peterson, and it's really annoying.
But this is, like Tommy Gunn said in the chat, one of those situations where he said a lot of positive things, too, when he was talking about the Vikings. But, of course, the focus is always going to be on the couple negative things.
And it wasn't really that negative. I mean, he's a competitor. Of course, just view it from a competitive, lens here. He still thinks he can be a big contributor to a team, and the Vikings didn't. So, of course, in his mind, he wants to prove the Vikings wrong.
Sure.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen.
He's facing some tough competition there. He's got a young rookie under him. He's got a strong player above him on the depth chart. I'm not sure what's going on here, because I like Alvin Kamara. I think he's going to be an up-and-coming running back here. And if the Saints try to get him a lot more time, it's going to have to come at the expense of Adrian Peterson.
It's a fun storyline, though. I'm really looking forward to the coming game here to just finally get to some real football.
I'm just glad that our linebackers and our D-line can finally tackle him.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, I don't see him get into the secondary because it's going to – I don't know. I'm excited for the game just like everyone else. But – moving right along, I don't want to talk about AP too much longer because we always tend to do that. The biggest shot for me over the weekend was the Vikings releasing left guard ALEX BOONE. If you guys didn't hear, the Vikings brought him in over the weekend, asked him to take a pay cut. He said no, and subsequently he was released. So I don't think there's any more of a Mike Zimmer move that could happen than, hey, take a pay cut. I don't want to take a pay cut. See you later. So I was very upset, and these guys will tell you, I was like, man, this is stupid. He's a starting left guard. And then when we broke down the numbers and I let the emotion leave, he's a very cool guy, but I think Kyle West said it very good in our chat between each other. He talked a lot of Jared Allen, but he didn't play a lot like Jared Allen. And the stats are there, and I believe Adam even said that he played better. The team played better when he wasn't in the lineup, which is really shocking because I believed in that guy. I believed when it came out of his mouth when he said, oh, I'll murder somebody for my quarterback. I believed him, and I loved his mentality, his attitude, and his spirit. So wherever he ends up, I have nothing bad to say about ALEX BOONE. I was excited that we got him last year, but we're moving on.
Yeah,
And
Nick Easton will be filling that spot. And Nick Easton, of course, came over in that trade with the 49ers that sent Gerald Hodges over there and a 6th-rounder to Minnesota as well. Right now, that trade's looking really good.
Yeah, I believe didn't Hodges go to the Bills and got released this weekend?
Yes.
Yeah, so all you guys that we were talking about that together amongst ourselves this weekend, for all you guys that lost your mind over that Gerald Hodges deal, he's unemployed, and now we have a starting left guard. So, yeah, there's that.
It stinks because the Vikings paid a lot of money to try to shore up that offensive line, bring in toughness, and just did not accomplish that at all.
I heard the best saying of it last year before the season started because we patched in a couple of people, and they said if this was 2012 and 2013, the Vikings may have the best offensive line in football. But I think that his best years are behind him, and I think that was pretty evident now that we look back at the film last year. And it's amazing that Sam Bradford didn't get injured last year, so hopefully he doesn't get injured again this year. But I think it'll be surprising to see with the names that you guys might not know or might not hear a lot about that we could probably get the same job done, if not better. So I'm looking forward to that. The next quick hit comes from a quarterback. We traded with the Seahawks and Minnesota gave up a conditional 7th-round pick for quarterback Tremaine Brock, who made the 53-man roster. This adds veteran depth. I think we were talking about Jabari Price being let go over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this transaction is due to a couple of reasons, because Jabari Price failed to step up and grab that spot. And I think that there was a real situation there with Mackenzie Alexander getting that taunting penalty and struggling during the preseason to just grasp a hold of that position, that they just need to do whatever they can to bring in somebody to hold it down while these guys learn.
I thought Mike Zimmer was going to cut Mackenzie Alexander right
on
then
the spot
on the field.
Just
immediately he's just going to be cut. They won't stand for that, and this is part of that.
I'm really surprised with Mackenzie Alexander's progression because Mike Zimmer is known as the corner whisperer, as you guys all know. But being a Tar Heel fan and being from Carolina, Clemson's only an hour and a half away from my house, and I was really excited for them last year to win a championship. And the year before, when they played Alabama and lost, I watched McKenzie play a couple of games that year. College, man, this kid was so good. And I'm not really sure if it's
I really don't believe he's a nickel corner.
Not a nickel. And that'll show. I'm sure that gap will be seen this year, and we'll miss Captain Munnerlyn a lot because he played it pretty damn good. But
we had said on the show before that Captain Munnerlyn was going to be the biggest loss from the players who left us last offseason.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think that's still showing through.
Yep.
I'm still shocked that not progressed as we thought, because we saw, there's going to be a little drop-off from a first-round number 9, I think, or 11, wherever Trey Waynes fell, to a second-round corner, but there shouldn't be too much drop-off. That's still top talent. So I was really surprised to see that, but that's why Tremaine Brock is on the roster now. This should be a warning sign to Mackenzie Alexander in my book.
The only thing that I'm worried about is why was it only a conditional 7th-round pick that the Vikings had to give up to bring him in? Like, what does that – why are you giving up such a low value for a player that we're all talking so highly of?
It's because he's such an up-and-down player. He's had so many seasons – he's played some really good football for several seasons. And if you look at like his Pro Football Focus scores and his throw percentage, you will see just peaks and valleys. When he is a great player, he's fantastic. When he's not having a good time, it's just not good. And I like the idea of pairing him up with Mike Zimmer and giving him options as to where to play him, especially since you won't have to throw him into really anything right away and you can have him compete for spots. I'm excited to see that.
The other thing that I like about this transaction, and we'll move along, is if you guys didn't hear earlier in the offseason, we actually went and I believe we offered him we made an offer to him, and he decided to go with the Seahawks instead. So that shows you that we had prior interest, and I think it's funny how that works full circle. I don't know if he's happy about it. Don't really care because he's going to get a paycheck.
Well, that and he had a league minimum, a veteran minimum salary when he was signed on by Seattle, so that comes over to Minnesota. His contract probably won't even have any impact at all on the salary cap.
That's a win all around for the Vikings. So glad to have Tremaine Brock on the team for some veteran cornerback depth.
But he does have a couple issues that come with him, and hopefully his past doesn't catch up with him.
I hope not.
Don't put him on a boat ride.
That's the last thing we need.
No boat rides. We'll be fine.
If you guys don't mind, I'm going to add one more quick hit to this before we jump in. I'm going to do these two as a combination and then add one more. Let's talk about tight ends real quick. The Vikings put in a waiver claim on tight end Blake Bell, formerly from the Niners. Man, we've had a lot of stuff going on with the Niners the last couple of years.
Well, there's a connection there, too, with that offensive line coach.
Mm-hmm.
And also, tight end Bucky Hodges has been waived with injury designation, which we checked and confirmed before the show started. He is on the IR. I think it said, from where I read it should be about 3 or 4 weeks, but it's because of a concussion. If you guys were wondering, that is why, because I thought Bucky Hodges did pretty well in the preseason. But
Pro Football Focus agrees with you.
So could he still play? Wait, hold on a second. Could he still play this season then?
There is a situation where I believe the Vikings can now activate 2 players from injured reserve.
Sure. Yeah.
I believe it's after 6 weeks.
Teddy and Bucky.
So he could be one they activate, but with so many tight ends on the roster, I don't see why.
Unless the tight end number 3 gets dropped and moved down, whatever, release.
Gets cut and moved to the practice squad after week 1 or 2.
Yeah. That's the only thing I could think of. But at least
he's the target guy. They're going to try to squeeze to the – no, he can't go to the practice squad, can he?
Who?
Blake Bell.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. Those rules are mysterious and no one knows them.
He's played in a lot of games, so I don't even know if he's eligible.
Probably not.
So I have a sort of a bold statement, or as Tommy go and say, a hot take. But we had it earlier today, and I sent a picture to the guys. ESPN, my notification went out today, and it said 32 bold predictions for each team.
This.
One.
Yeah.
So Kevin Seifert from ESPN thinks that the Vikings, I don't know if I would call him the MVP of the team, but he thinks the most valuable and biggest underdog player of the team will be Michael Floyd.
That's not the terminology used. What word did he use?
Let's go through here. I'll read it to you because this was very interesting. I didn't hear this from pretty much anyone else. So I was like, that's a bold one. I don't know that I agree with it. But Kevin Seifert said Floyd is suspended for the first 4 games of the season. You won't find him on many preseason lists for comeback player of the year, but he looked great in training camp and will resurrect his career in his home state. He says, in bold, Michael Floyd will be the most skilled receiver on this team.
What does that mean?
I don't know. The most skilled receiver on this team and the one who makes the most difficult catches and probably the one who is targeted most in the red zone. I believe that Kyle Rudolph will be targeted most in the red zone because he's 7 feet tall. But, hey, you know what? That's a bold statement.
I think it's a stupid statement because it means nothing. The most skilled receiver, resurrect his career. If they mean that he's going to achieve first-round draft pick, like achieve that level of success in Minnesota, I think he's way, way off.
It's a statement from someone who has to cover all 32 teams and doesn't really know that much about the Vikings other than the big name stories.
He's their NFC North analyst.
I would say, because I know him from, like Adam said, covering the NFC North, but he's not the Vikings expert like Ben Gessling. So I'm thinking, man, what's some crazy stuff that I could say that nobody said yet? Because people are picking Dalvin Cook for Rookie of the Year.
Right.
Maybe a lot
Didn't he pick 2 different players to be MVP this year?
I think
like
so.
In that article?
Yes.
It's like, what the heck?
Russell Wilson and David Johnson.
Yeah, they can't both be. I suppose they could. They did co-MVPs before, didn't they?
That'll never happen in this day and age. I'll put my money down on that. But, yeah, I just want to throw that in there to see what people thought. I'm with you, Adam. I don't think that's going to be the case. I do hope that he proves us wrong and that does happen, but I don't think that it will. Hopefully he plays good for us. But moving on to the main topic, the 53-man roster is out. We will talk about who is on the 53-man roster, who was released, and we'll talk about the practice squad. So I'm going to fly through the people that were named to the 53-man roster.
Woo!
We're going to start through with the quarterbacks. We have 2, Sam Bradford and Case Keenum. 4 running backs, which is kind of surprising to me. Dalvin Cook up top. Under him is Latavius Murray, Jerick McKinnon, and C.J. Ham at fullback. Pretty cool to see C.J. Ham making the roster. 6 wide receivers, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Laquan Treadwell, Jarius Wright, Rodney Adams, and Stacy Coley. Pretty cool to see 2 of the rookies there at the bottom. 3 tight ends, Kyle Rudolph, David Morgan, and Blake Bell. 9 offensive linemen, Riley Reif will be at left tackle. Left guard is Nick Easton. Center is Pat Elflin. Right guard, Joe Berger. And right tackle, Mike Rimmers. The backups will be Aviante Collins.
Why? What did Aviante Collins do to make the 53?
I'm going to let you do that since you're the offensive line expert, sir.
I don't understand this move at all. I thought he had a poor preseason. He's not really physical enough to be on the right side or in the interior. He's not athletic enough to really play tackle yet. Maybe they see just so much raw talent in him that that's what they want to do. But I don't know.
I'll be honest with you, it's the first name on this list where I went, what? When the list initially came out, I was like, who? But moving right along, Aviante Collins, Rashad Hill, Danny Isadora, and Jeremiah Searles. Those are the offensive linemen. On the defensive side, 9 defensive linemen. Everson Griffin, Linval Joseph, Tom Johnson, Daniil Hunter, Brian Robinson, Stephen Weatherly, Jashawn Bauer. I don't think that's 9, is it? I think that's 8 listed. We'll look through and double-check that. 6 linebackers, Anthony Barr, Eric Kentrell brothers, Ben Gideon, Emmanuel Amore, and Eric Wilson. 11 defensive backs, Xavier Rhodes, Trey Waynes, Terrence Newman, Harrison Smith, Andrew Sandejo, Mackenzie Alexander, Tremaine Brock, Marcus Sherrills, Antone Exum, Anthony Harris, and J-Ron Curse. Kicker and punter, 1 apiece. Kai Forbath is the kicker. Ryan Quigley is the punter. Kevin McDermott's still going to be our long snapper. And I don't know if you guys want me to run through these guys on injured reserve. I'll just go because I'm here. Sure. Placed on injured reserve, Dayton Jones, defensive tackle. Placed on reserve, physically unable to perform, Teddy Bridgewater. Placed on reserve, non-football injury, Sharif Floyd, defensive tackle. And suspended, placed on reserve, is Michael Floyd. So there you have it.
I think the biggest disappointment for me there, other than the offensive tackle situation where I don't understand that decision, was that both the veterans ended up walking away the winners in the kicking and punting competitions. I was really hoping to see Taylor Simink or what was the backup kicker or the other kicker's name? Marshall Kane. I was hoping to see one of them walk away because of their youth and, leg power. But in the end, it's got to be about consistency with this team. When you got a defensive-led team, you have to play it kind of safe. And I think that's what the Vikings did with their special teamers this year. And I want to see a core unit stick together and grow in Minnesota on special teams, but it just hasn't been able to happen with that trio of the long snapper, kicker, and punter.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of special teams and, former Vikings players, if you guys didn't know, Jeff Locke is available. We were talking about that all weekend. He was released from the Colts.
And there was a rumor that the Vikings were looking at outside sources for their punter because they're not really pleased with either of the answers. But who knows if that bridge is burnt there with Jeff Locke. You never know.
I would have loved to have seen Jeff Locke come back, but that's just
lots of surprises, I think. Just different stuff than what the Vikings usually do on this
list too.
On this roster too.
I'll check Vikings.com. Did they list? I'll check on the roster depth. Who do they have listed as the punt returner and the kick returner? That's my biggest question.
I didn't see one. I don't know if they have that available for.
Check on the app real quick. You guys
all of us to look.
I'm not sure if they do either or not. If you want, I can run down the practice squad here real quick.
Sure, go for it.
This is something that a lot of guys don't really give a rat's patoot about, but
you should.
There are some of these guys that can grow and develop into really good players, and some of them really impressed during the preseason. So the Vikings went out and they grabbed Kyle Slaughter from the Denver Broncos. They paid him quite a bit more than the average salary for the practice squad to bring him in, but he's got the prototypical size and arm strength and above average mobility for a quarterback. They do hope that he's a couple years away from stepping into being a solid backup or maybe even trade bait in the future. There was some highly contested teams going out there trying to acquire him, and that's why the Vikings had to throw so much cash at him, but they're pretty glad they got him. Running back Bronson Hill came on in. Caleb Jones, the wide receiver we talked about, who had an awesome fourth preseason game, he ended up making the roster along with Kyle Carter, who I believe he had a touchdown in week 3 of the preseason. Offensive linemen Cedric Lang and Cornelius Edison both signed on. defensive lineman Afidi Agonibo and Dylan Bradley both made it on to the practice squad, along with linebacker Elijah Lee and cornerback Horace Richardson.
And the practice squad, as we know, as we cover all throughout the season, will have all kinds of moves.
Oh, yeah, there will be transactions bouncing players back and forth and back and forth. I believe that one of these younger players on the 53 is going to get cut when Michael Floyd comes back, and they will try to stash him away on the practice squad. I'm guessing it's going to be one of the younger wide receivers, and I don't know which one, because there's no way they can keep going in with 7 wide receivers on the roster. Can they really do that?
I don't think that they could roll with 7 receivers.
That's a lot.
And that's a lot of receivers. And I don't think, again, I'll stick up for Jarius Wright. It's not going to be him that gets cut. It's going to be one of the 2 younger guys that will get it. Probably whoever they feel less comfortable with on special teams would be my guess.
Absolutely, and I do think that Stacey Coley has the leg up in the competition right now.
Although we just say that, and then I look and I go, I am really surprised that we kept a fullback in C.J. Ham. But then again, the tight ends, I thought we were going to keep 4 tight ends. We ended up with 3 tight ends, and nobody would have thought that Blake Bell would have been on this roster.
Nope.
So, that's an interesting little thing that happened. And we finally got 2 quarterbacks at him.
Yeah, I was not expecting that either. I thought Taylor Heineke was going to make it, especially after those third-game heroics, playing toughness through that fourth quarter, even though he struggled, or in the 4th preseason game, even though he struggled greatly. Showed a lot of heart. I was really hoping that he could be the backup there in Minnesota, but they really like what they got in this Kyle Slaughter kid, and they are going to be paying pretty close attention to him.
They do. Boy, Taylor Heineke really derailed his career when he put his foot through that door, didn't he?
It was a big changing moment in his career, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those...
Very, very shocking. And I always liked Taylor Heineke because I got to see him play a game down in ODU when I was stationed in Virginia. Mm-hmm. So my hat's off to him, man. I always liked the kid. He'll do good somewhere else.
Now, I know that he was injured. I know that he was injured when he was released. Is he eligible back for the practice squad, or is he spent?
He is eligible. He is.
It'd be interesting. I wonder if they bring him back at some point, or with the money that they've paid for this other kid. What's his name? Kyle Slaughter.
Right.
Maybe they've moved on from Taylor Heineke at this point. Who knows?
I'm not sure, but either way, it's going to be interesting to watch this develop because quarterback is such an essential position to have, and the Vikings quarterback situation has never really been more up in the air after this season than I don't know.
You really don't. And I know there were some people on Twitter that are saying you shouldn't read into the Vikings only keeping 2 quarterbacks as to having anything to do with Teddy Bridgewater, but you can't help but to make that connection because you are seeing the rumors on Twitter that the Vikings haven't ruled out the possibility of Teddy playing this season. So you just don't know right now. That's an interesting story to watch unfold.
It really is, and like you said, it's hard not to think about what direction the Vikings are going in with this because this is the first time in many years they've ran with 2 quarterbacks. And sure, it was probably to be able to squeeze another wide receiver on there or get Blake Bell in there for some reason. I don't know.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and do it now because it needs to be said. Now, this could all change if someone goes down. I'm not going to say a name because I don't want that shit to happen again 2 years in a row. My bold statement for this week, I was going to do a prediction for the Saints game, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let the football on the field do the talking. Teddy Bridgewater's not playing this year, you guys. He's not going to do it. Sam Bradford's going to be our quarterback. I have full faith that this line's going to hold up and do its job.
And Case Keenum is the backup.
Case Keenum is the backup, and I don't think that could be any more clear. And I know that Teddy's made progress. I know that this team loves him, and he will be on the roster next year. I would put my paycheck down on that. The Teddy Bridgewater, barring a Sam Bradford injury or Case Keenum just going missing somewhere,
he gets lost in the woods.
Yeah, there's a missing persons report for Case Keenum. Teddy
He's
Bridgewater
went for a hike. He hasn't been eating for 3 days now. Does anyone know where he's at?
Puts his head through a store window like Milt on Bachelor Party. There's a reference for you.
I want everyone to breathe this in because North Turner left through the season last year. So the last bit of offensive coordinator that he actually played in a live, real game was with North Turner against Seattle on that cold, cold day. That's a long time ago when he actually played a meaningful game. Now, I know he looked great in the preseason last year. I won't take that away from him. But I'm just telling you now, Teddy Bridgewater's not – Sam's going to be far ahead of him. And I'm not saying that Sam Bradford's Tom Brady. I've said that exact thing before. He's not Aaron Rodgers. But Sam's had enough time now to be cemented to be a starter. And I honestly think that if they went head-to-head, I've said this before too, I don't think Teddy would beat him. And it's not because I don't think Teddy's a quality quarterback. I don't think he would.
You have Tommy Gunn disagreeing with you in a very large way.
That's fine, man. I don't see it from the film. Like I said, I love Teddy. I think he's the first jersey that I've bought in a long time too. I have faith in him. He's going to be on the team next year, but they're saying, oh, we're not going to rule the possibility out that he's going to play. He's not going to play this year, guys.
Every time. No, here's the thing, though. Every time I think I've got this figured out. Oh, shit. I know what's going on with Teddy.
You bought a Teddy jersey, didn't you, West?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, I've had that for a couple of seasons now. I bought that as rookie season. But every time I think I have this figured out with Teddy, then I feel like I don't, because you see something else that makes you think the other way with it. So I'm at the point where I go, I don't know. And I'm okay with being like, I don't know what's going to happen with Teddy Bridgewater.
That's probably the safer opinion of the two between you and I.
No, because
I don't think, and I'm not saying safer because I don't think you're confident or anything. I don't.
No, because I'm not confident. I'll admit that. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen.
I just don't see it happening, man. And that's what I don't want people to realize. It's like when they go at it on like First Take or something like that. I can disagree with someone or say that something is better than another. It's like the debate, the one that I go back to all the time. I think Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback ever. That doesn't mean I think because Joe Montana's number 2, that doesn't mean Joe Montana's trash. He's amazing. And just in this case, I think with the circumstances, how everything has unfolded, I think Sam Bradford has the edge.
Here's the one thing that I will debate you on. The one thing I agree with everything else you said, except if they were both healthy, it's an even competition. Teddy beats out Sam Bradford. I think so. I think that
it all depends on how that mobility is when he comes back. I think Teddy's mobility is the real game changer there. Yeah. It's mobility versus arm strength, whichever they prefer.
That Adam put it perfectly, and I love Teddy's elusiveness in the pocket because he's got Sam beat there. But I think the deep ball and the arm strength definitely goes to Sam. And I think it sucks because last year there was a ton of short yards passage, which both of them will thrive in the West Coast system. But I think that arm strength goes to Sam Bradford all the time. And it's not like Sam's like 35. I think he's like, my age? He's like 29. He's still got plenty of time. So I don't know. It's very interesting. But
I think
this is a good thing to have for us.
I think, and it's not that players don't gravitate to Sam Bradford, because they do. But I think Teddy's got that, I don't know, like that Brett Favre in him a little bit, where players gravitate to Brett Favre. Players gravitate, I think, to Teddy Bridgewater a little bit. Now, it's different because Favre was a legend, and so Teddy hasn't earned, quite that level of respect, nowhere near that level of respect. But I do think that Teddy has a little bit of that about him that I think gives him the edge over Sam Bradford.
Are you talking about the it factor that people were saying that Teddy didn't have when he was coming out of college?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that. You get on Snapchat and you see everybody Snapchat from the Vikings, how they're all filming Teddy just dancing and acting a fool because his personality is so damn contagious.
Teddy has finally...
He just radiates positivity all the time.
Like, the interview with Teddy Bridgewater was the highlight of the 4th preseason game.
Yes. Teddy has finally relaxed a little bit. I think he's matured, even though he's always been very mature. But he's matured enough to where he's relaxing, and you're getting to see, like, the real Teddy come out in interviews and stuff. And he's a really cool guy.
And if you follow him on social media, too, he's a blast. He's always posting fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
We got a comment here, bold prediction from Tommy Gunn that I want to hear what you guys think about.
Let's hear it.
He says that the Vikings will have a wide receiver reach 100 yards or more in 15 of the 16 weeks of the regular season.
Oh, dear Lord. I hope so.
No.
I'm going to sell that.
I'm going to say no, just because Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray are going to be picking up a lot of Sam Bradford's checkdowns, and on top of them just being included in the passing game. So you're spreading the wealth out here. I don't think you're fitting it into any one receiver that much.
Tommy, I'll trade that bet with you to say not 15 of the 16 games. I'll go half. I'll go 8 of the 16. I'll go with that. I'll bring the number way down, even though it's still high. I'll go down to 8 games, but I will say that Sam will go over 4,000 yards because I believe if he played week 1 last year, if he was ready, he will win over. So, yeah, I'll take that bet. I think we'll have a 1,000-yard receiver. I think we'll have a lot of 100-yard games. It's not
we'll put a name on it now. Just who? Who is going to be our 1,000-yard receiver?
Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen?
Because – and I hate to say it because I love Stephon Diggs. He's probably my favorite player on the team. But, damn it, he just can't play a full 16 games so far. And I want him to.
Yeah, that hurts.
Because
that's a damn good point.
3 games last year to injury, and he was, like 60 yards away from 1,000 yards? Easily would have broken that.
But Diggs is crazy good at yards after the catch, though.
Yes, he is.
So even without playing a full season, maybe you say he's injured for a game or 2.
The only reason that I pick Adam Thielen minus maybe the injury to account for is he's our slot guy. So if he can get those mid-range passes from Sam Bradford, he's going to catch them all day.
Well, both Thielen and Diggs almost made it there last year. So no matter who you're picking, it's a pretty solid choice.
Yep.
Oh my God, there's a commercial for pizza on the TV. I want pizza so bad.
What is a successful season for Laquan Treadwell? Just like receiving yards wise.
He needs to get, in my opinion, and this isn't going to be popular because he's a first-round pick, I need him to get over 500 yards and at least 3 to 4 touchdowns, and that's a minimum.
I was at 403.
Yeah, he's going to have to make up for all that last year. But if you watched Laquan in the preseason, he looks a little bit more comfortable. And the thing that I latched onto most last year, because Captain Munnerlyn said it, when they asked him about it, because he plays against him. So what has he done? Have you talked to him or anything? He said, yeah, man, he asks me for information all the time. I'm glad to help him out. He just needs to be confident. If Laquan can put it in his brain and be like every other diva out there, like if he walked out there with the Odell Beckham mentality, I think he could shine. He just needs to believe in himself because he's got the physical traits. And if you look at the roster, the depth right now, he's above everyone else, the new guys and Jairus Wright. So he's listed as the number 3. Now, I think that I don't think they would just give that position to him. I think that he earned it. So, but to answer it, yeah, he's going to need 400 or 500 yards at least and 3 or 4 touchdowns.
So when the Vikings put 3 wide receivers out there, you can assume that Diggs will be on one side, Treadwell will be on the other, and Thielen will be in the slot. That's what I'm assuming.
Yep, that's exactly what I think.
But I think when it's 2 wide receivers, we're going to see Diggs and Thielen.
Yep.
That's the way I'm reading into it.
And then the game changes week 5 when Michael Floyd comes back. We'll see if he lives up to the hype. Another good problem for us to have. You know, the ceiling, it could be way up here. We're just taking a flyer on this guy too, so we'll see. I don't know.
This offense needs to get it together, though, because it was highly disappointing all throughout all 4 preseason games. That was a point that you made, Adam.
First-team offense didn't score a single touchdown.
Yes, they have to get it done. You got to score points. I mean, I know that defense and all, we're going to beat the great defense underneath Mike Zimmer, but I don't care. You want to beat the Patriots, you got to put up points.
And you can have as many excuses as you want that you're going out there with your bland base set offense. Just it's not a good excuse.
Your talent has to beat the talent in front of it, regardless of scheme. They got to get it done.
Yep.
Let's finish up here by talking about the Vikings season opener, Monday Night Football against the New Orleans Saints. Football returns on Thursday. I believe it's back-to-back games, right?
Yes, I believe so.
I won't be watching either of them because I'm going to go watch some live wrestling, but I'll be paying attention on my phone to that one.
Chat it up for a second. I'll get these games out to the people Thursday.
But on that Monday night game for the Vikings and the Saints, I will be there in person watching that one. So I'm hoping the Vikings can bring home a win on that one. Of course, the major talk so far has been that it will be the game where Adrian Peterson comes back to Minnesota. A lot of people are calling it a revenge game. I wouldn't go that far. It's just a football game where one player that used to play for the team is coming. I hate the term revenge game.
I think the only real revenge game that we've seen in the last 10 years was when Favre went back to Lambeau.
I'd call that a revenge game, yeah.
Yeah, because and that subsequently being the time that he beat all 32 teams, which was a really cool thing to put under his belt. But as far as revenge, there might have been some like passive-aggressive shots here and there, very small shots between Adrian and the Vikings. But genuinely, I think he's going to retire as a Viking, and I don't think there's a lot of bad blood now that he's moved along. We said, all right, cool, you've done your thing. Thank you for your time. And he says, all right, cool, appreciate it, guys. I think it's really fun to see our defensive line and the linebackers get a chance to take a shot at him because they never were allowed to hit him before. So I'm really excited for this game. To go back to the information I said I'd give out, there's only one game Thursday night, and it's going to be at 8:30 Eastern.
Saints and Chiefs, or the Chiefs and the Patriots.
Chiefs are going to be at the New England Patriots. They're going to unveil their Super Bowl banner there up in Foxborough because they do crazy, stupid things.
I think the Chiefs are going to give them a pretty good run for their money.
Yeah, this should be a good game. New England's got the spread down at -9, which I'm going to put my money on New England winning, but I don't think this is going to be a gimme by any chance.
I don't think they're going to cover that spread.
Maybe. We'll see. It's going to be a tough game, though.
I'll have to head on over to that gambling website that I won't say because, reasons, but I'll go take care of that.
Well, I'm going to run down these lists.
I agree with Eric. I bet AP fumbles as well, too.
Oh, if he gets a carry.
No, Adam, come on. You know how you always know what the Vikings game plan was with Adrian Peterson? The first time the Saints are out there on offense, they're going to give the ball to Adrian Peterson.
Yep.
Once, I don't know, maybe once Mark Ingram gets tired.
Nah, they're going to open it up because behind closed doors, Roger Goodell is.
And then Alvin Kamara is going to be there, like, okay, I'm up next.
Money. Now he's giving him a whole stack full of money to be like, Adrian has to take the first carry. Here you go.
There's a lot of good games this weekend. I'm going to run through them because we play on Monday. We play a week from today. It really sucks because I got to sit through the whole one. But there's some divisional games, too. The Jets are at the Bills. The Falcons are at the Bears. Ravens and Bengals. Steelers, Browns. Cardinals, Lions. Jaguars, Texans. Bucks and Dolphins. Raiders, Titans. Eagles and Redskins. Colts and Rams. The Seahawks and the Packers play at 4:30. That's going to be a good game. 49ers and Panthers could care less about that game. And Sunday Night Football, the Giants are at the Cowboys. So I'll be watching a lot of football that Sunday.
I won't be watching that Sunday night because Fear the Walking Dead's coming back.
Who do the Raiders play?
What's that?
Who do the Raiders play?
The Raiders take on the Titans. They go to Tennessee. So that's
going to be a good game, too.
That's gonna be a good game. I'm looking forward to seeing Marshawn Lynch back. Also, Cordero Patterson. I'm interested to see how they use Cordero Patterson.
Monday, September 11th, Saints come to the Vikings. That's going to be at 5:10 here in the Mountain Time, so 7:10 Eastern. And then after that, the late game is going to be the Chargers at the Broncos, which I will not stay up for. But
there should be about halftime there when I get home.
There's your list of week 1, guys. And I saw this meme earlier today, so I'm going to steal it. But football's finally here. We made it.
All right, so let's talk about the Saints a little bit here because, of course, when you talk about the Saints, you got to talk about Drew Brees. Yes. Drew Brees is one heck of a quarterback. He, once again, will probably lead the league in passing yards. Yep. He'll probably break Brett Favre's record for completions this season. It's just he's an unbelievable quarterback, and he's got so many great weapons, even out of the backfield. It's going to be a great test for the Vikings defense. Defensively, I'm not too scared of the Saints. But I do worry because the Vikings have really struggled to really execute offensively in the preseason. So it's going to be a tough battle back and forth. I do hope that Minnesota can find a way to move the ball, control the clock, and play that brand of Minnesota Vikings football that they know and have played so well in the past. That's where my fingers are crossed. If the Saints can come out to a hot start and put some points on the board, it might be a shellacking, which I'm hoping that's not the case.
Here's my take on this game. The Saints have went 7-9 in, I believe, the last 3 seasons. They are not going to go 7-9. Again, history says that number is going to change. I can't tell you if it's going to be better or worse. I really don't know because I don't believe in that defense at all, like Adam said. I don't think their backfield got worse. I think they added depth. They did lose majorly with Brandon Cooks leaving, going to New England. But that doesn't matter because Drew Brees will throw it to the water boy and he'll score a touchdown. So my take on this game, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to shout out to Tommy Gunn since I made a bold statement earlier. I'll make a hot take now. Remember our first game in the new stadium last year? Where Trey
I absolutely remember it.
Yeah, Trey Wayne's got that awesome pick. I think Trey Wayne's going to have another interception here. And I give the Vikings the edge by a touchdown because they're playing in Minnesota. That's the only reason why. And like Adam said, I'm not worried as much about the Saints' defense as their high-powered offense and a good quarterback. I think Daniil Hunter is going to be all up in Drew Brees' business all night. But he can get the ball out quickly like a Peyton Manning used to. And I know that he can read defenses pretty well too. So I think it's going to be a back-and-forth battle. But I do trust the process. I think their defense is not as good as ours, and I think our offense can play well against their pretty bad defense. So I'm going to give the Vikings by a touchdown.
Now, there's also some excitement about the Vikings halftime situation where they're going to be having Randy Moss enter the Vikings Ring of Honor. I believe Ahmad Rashad isn't going in quite yet, right?
No, I think Ahmad Rashad is on the Thanksgiving game. No, that can't be right.
I know it's not this week, though.
It's not the Thanksgiving game. Duh, that's in Detroit. But I think it's like around that time frame. Right,
so Randy Moss is going to be going into the Ring of Honor at halftime, which is cool for fans of Randy Moss.
The huge Randy Moss fan. Yep, huge Randy Moss fan. I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Speaking of, because we were just talking about it earlier and I didn't add it in, the video that I sent you guys today, they had the top 10 rookie performances on week 1. Number 10 and number 9 were Vikings players. Randy Moss playing against the Bucks.
Yeah.
In that game. And then Adrian Peterson, I believe it was against the Cardinals in 07. That was really weird to see 2 Vikings back-to-back on a top 10 list. That was good.
That is always nice to see. All right, so Tommy Gunn's got some questions here. He wants some predictions. The first catch of the year, first touchdown of the year, and first sack of the year. I'm assuming he means Vikings. Otherwise, these would be all Saints or Chiefs or Patriots.
I'll go down that list. First catch is going to go to Dalvin Cook. First touchdown, I'm going to give that one to Rudolph because it's a safe bet. And I think the first sack's going to Sack Daddy. Boom.
Let's see. My first catch, I'll say Thielen. First touchdown of the game or for the Vikings? Because of the game, I think it's going to be Mark Ingram.
No, go the Vikings.
Okay, for the Vikings, the first touchdown. Let's see. That's going to be Kyle Rudolph. First sack of the year is going to be Linval right up the gut.
Oh, yeah.
First catch of the year, it'd be Stephon Diggs. First touchdown, Latavius Murray.
Ooh.
And first sack of the year. Oh.
Daniil Hunter.
Daniil Hunter. It's going to be Daniil Hunter.
There you go. We're all different. I love it.
The kid's a monster. You can't contain Daniil Hunter. You can't do it. You can try, but you can't.
Good questions, Tommy. That was fun.
I'm glad we didn't have to pick Patriots or Chiefs for that because it's a lot more fun with Vikings.
Gronkowski, all 3. He plays defense now.
Chris Hogan will do it all.
Hogan.
Chris Hogan will have like the breakout performance of the year, and he was.
I've got him on my fantasy team after what happened to Edelman.
Yeah, I said that the other day. I was like, Brandon Cooks is going to do awesome this year. The Edelman's down. I'm like, no, watch. Chris Hogan's been there a year. He's going to light it.
Chris Hogan's going to be the man. You saw as soon as Edelman went down in that preseason game, every pass went to Chris Hogan.
That's crazy.
And this has suddenly turned into the New England Patriots podcast, so sorry about that, guys.
Let's get Wes Welker back. They'll just, hey, Wes Welker, want to come out of retirement? Sure.
Absolutely not.
Bowl season.
I don't want him to come out of retirement because if he hits his head on the wall, he's going to get another concussion, that poor guy. Cool. But you guys know we get crazy at the end of the show. That's all I got, man. I'm excited. You guys tune in a week from today. Like I said, it's 7:10 Eastern. The Vikings will be hosting the Saints for the home opener. And, man, I'm really excited. Football's back, guys.
Absolutely. I'm still in that camp where I'm not super excited. I think I will be thrilled once I see regular season football on my television. I think that'll be what does it.
It's been a weird preseason for us, so yeah, I feel your nervousness.
I was in the car today, and I was super excited because I was like, yeah, season opener in 3 days, Thursday Night Football, woo! Wait a minute, that was last year. Oh, shit. I have to wait until Monday. I totally forgot. I thought we played the opener. Oh, man.
Nope, no opener this year. The other reason why I'm not getting super psyched yet is because I still got quite a bit to go till there. I got my wrestling event coming up. Got the return of Fear the Walking Dead on Sunday with back-to-back episodes for the Season 3 mid-season premiere, so that's going to be pretty exciting. There's a lot going on right now, and once some of that other stuff gets out of the way, it's going to be great. My buddy Clint Fredrickson, who's also a sometimes listener of the show, but likes to participate in the chats sometimes, he will be coming up here from Kansas to check out the game with me, so I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome.
Hey,
we got front row balcony seats again, which is amazing. I love it up there.
Hey, Adam.
I'm Adam.
Before we forget,
Adam West. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we have a fantasy football thingy thing that people should join.
I don't know if that's closed yet or not, but if it isn't, people do need to get over there to the Survival League and sign up. We've got several people signing up there. Still not as good of a turnout as last year, but I would love to see some more people get in there and have a chance.
Off the top of your head, the link, because I really wanted to join this year, and I haven't done that because I'm a slacker.
Go to the podcast page, click on the picture. It should be right away in the pictures there. And I know that the league number is 1281, and I think the password is SKOL if you want to sign up. All caps, SKOL. So, yes, I do know the information off the top of my head.
Yes!
That's what I get for doing that for too long. But I do hope to see some people signing up. Again, it's going to be a 3 strikes.
Eric is signed up.
And I believe it starts in week 12 or 13, where you will need to pick 2 teams each week, which is going to make it extra challenging. And so far, we've only had one person win the league both times, so it would be nice to see a different face, although if he can three-peat, more power to him, man, you know?
If he three-peats, we're going to name the trophy after him.
We're going to trophy. If he three-peats, he deserves the trophy.
Yeah.
But we've talked about the Saints. We've talked about the Dolphins a little bit. We ran down all the rosters, transactions. Not a whole lot else to talk about here as far as Minnesota Vikings news heading into the regular season. If you guys got anything else that you want to talk about, be sure to hit us up on our Facebook, on our Twitter accounts, and we'll be sure to try to get back to you and share some Vikings love. Also, we're going to be posting a social media question about, I believe we're going to go about the game on Monday night so that we can talk about it. Right now, I believe we're planning on recording sometime Tuesday or Wednesday, I think, since I won't be around on Monday.
I would be all right with Tuesday.
Yeah, let's go for Tuesday.
Yeah, we're going to aim for Tuesday night.
We want to do them as soon as possible after the games.
So hopefully we'll be able to come on in here and talk some Vikings football with you. As always, we appreciate everyone who joins us in the live chat, gives us a thumb up, subscribes. We're at 412 subscribers right now, which is pretty sweet. We really appreciate that, guys. We've also got everything up and running on our PodOMatic, iTunes, Stitcher. Everything goes up now like it should in the past. So glad to have that up and running again. I believe that's about it. That's all I have for you guys. You guys got anything else you want to close with?
I'm good. You get everything.
Mr. West seems pretty preoccupied, so I will end by saying, if you feel like it, if you're a big fan of The Walking Dead, check out Undead Walking. I've got a podcast kind of thing going on over there too as well. It's called Undead Talking here on YouTube. It's a YouTube live show just like this. I hop on, I talk about The Walking Dead, whether it's comics, games, the shows, whatever. The next show I'm doing is going to be on Wednesday, where I'm going to be talking about issue 171, Fear the Princess, of the comic book series, which I'm personally really psyched about. And I don't know if we're going to be doing a preview show for Fear the Walking Dead 309 and 10, but I will be doing a live broadcast during those episodes if you want to come on and talk about Fear the Walking Dead with me while it airs, because I actually found someone to pick up my reviews on the website, so now I can actually watch it, enjoy it, and just chat with you guys while I do it. So I came out a big winner in this situation. On that note, I'd like to thank everyone for listening and thank my hosts for sticking around, letting me plug my other work here for so long. Of course, I have not yet plugged the Viking Age, I don't think, which I should, because that's why you're here. You're fans of the Minnesota Vikings. The Viking Age app is a great place to get all your Vikings information delivered to you. Vikings news, transactions, opinions, rumors, everything. We'll cover everything we can there. And in the meantime, just hit us up on our social media accounts. And thanks for listening. Stay classy, Minnesota.